keeps lying, but he won't retreat on his quest for truth. Yeah. Truth, quest for truth. They can't stop me, they can't block me. Moving through, got that fire, they can't block me. Quest for truth, breaking chains, making waves. That's what I do. When they hate, I create.
Welcome everyone to Pounder's Quest. We are live once again, and I've got my coffee. I don't know about you guys. Let me know if you've got coffee. I don't know if they have a coffee emoji on YouTube, but if they do, shoot one my way. Especially if you're here with us live. If you're in the comments, you probably have coffee too. You got to be to watch something like this. This is something that is crazy. Trail of bodies, trail of missing people, all related to somehow with space, with some kind of technology to do with space, or directly related to the UAP programs. That's right, the UAP programs. Are you kidding me? These guys are disappearing that are associated with this. This is crazy. So we're going to talk about that stuff tonight. Excited to do that. Excited to be here with you guys again live, this time on Thursday night. I've been trying to do them every Tuesday and Thursday. Next week, my family does the Passover celebration next week. I'm not Jewish. I am a Christian, but in the Bible, I don't see Easter in the Bible, but I see Passover. So that's what I'm doing next week. So I may or may not be live with you guys. I'm going to try to do something at least, if nothing else, just maybe a video. I don't know if you guys ever watch the little short videos or whatever, or the posts. I'll definitely be trying to keep you guys updated on what's going on and all that good stuff. Man, look, this time of year is crazy always. Anytime you get close to any of the feasts that it talks about in the Bible, there's like 7 of them. There's always something wild that goes down. I mean, I can tell you at least for the last 15 years I've noticed that pattern. And before we get started, guys, I want to mention to you to check out affiliate Nano Extreme Pain Cream. You have nothing to lose but pain when you try this. It is by far the best pain cream. It is and I'm telling you this is the truth, the only pain cream where every one of the ingredients go all the way through your skin to all 7 layers to get to the heart of it. It works great. I'm a user. Hundreds of you guys have used it and I've heard nothing but great reviews. So check it out. There's a link in the description for it and a couple of codes that you can use for a discount. You can use one or the other code that I have in the description there below. Also, if you guys are looking to do meetups and hang out, which I would love to hang out with you guys. I'd love to meet you. I'm going to be talking at a couple of conferences that I have for sure confirmed. There's going to be other things. For the other things, make sure you go check out poundersquest.com. That's in the description. You can sign up for our mailing list, and that way you'll know about future things that come up. Plus, I'm going to be doing, actually, my wife is the one doing this website. She's going to be adding all kinds of cool stuff to it. So I'm super excited about that. But the other links for the conferences are in there below. A couple of them you'll recognize some of the people that I've had on this channel, like people that you guys love and enjoy that keep requesting to come back. So not only do you get to see me, but you get to see them as well. And yes, these glasses are blue light blockers. I have to say, they're not just for the awesome style, the wonderful look that they give me. They are blue light blockers. They have a medical benefit. Check out Blue Light Tech, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And maybe you'll probably be wearing them too, not too long after that, guys. So let's get into it. So most of you guys have heard about this. This is this retired 2-star Air Force General Neil McCasland. He's been missing since February 27th. He was at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He was probably the premier guy when it came to the knowledge of what the crafts are, the reverse engineering, and possibly even the body of some kind of entity. This is who we're talking about here. This is not just your run-of-the-mill character. He was our Air Force Research Laboratory, and for those of you who don't know, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is the base where they transferred the Area 51 wreckage to this. At least that's what's being reported. That's what's being said. He supposedly left carrying only his gun, his wallet, and his boots, and went off into trail or do something. They don't know. Nobody saw him leave. went through hundreds of houses, and hundreds of houses, like 400 houses they went through to try to find a Ring camera footage, something, so that they could find where he might have gone. And mind you, his wife has said he's a great at navigating. He's not senile. He's one of the sharpest people around when he's in the room. This guy is on point with everything. And so for him to be missing is very strange. He holds high-level clearance, and he hasn't been in that since, I think, 2013, but he still holds secrets. And so it's not, for some reason, not a huge story, but it is a very big story. In fact, I have an interview. This is the latest information on this, and some stuff that I think we need to literally kind of really pay attention to, because for some reason or another, something strange is going on here, and they're trying to hide something. And so I think if we can see all these, and maybe one of you guys can put together enough clues, or maybe we can put together clues in here to see what it is that these people have in common. And I have found a couple commonalities between some of them that we'll get into. And actually, too, at the end of this video, towards the end, I have a video I'm going to play of body cam footage of a guy trying to get into Area 51, claiming that he was part of this time dilation and then involved there and a couple of other bases. He shows up with all of these ID cards. It's pretty intense. So let's watch this.
Ross Coulthart knows a thing or two about UFOs and UAPs and all things surrounding those things. Ross is an Australian investigative journalist. He's an author. He's a documentary producer. He's also the senior special investigations correspondent for News Nation. And Ross believes that the government, actually many governments, have covered up knowledge of extraterrestrial spacecraft.
You think?
And Ross is an advocate for UFO disclosure. He made some very big headlines this week when he said that General Neil McCasland, quote, is one of the most significant figures ever to be linked to the disclosure conversations around unidentified aerial phenomena, and described him as, quote, someone who has served at the highest levels of Air Force and defense world with oversight of classified aerospace and special.
I think what makes this even weirder is that, I think it was like 8 days before he disappeared, Donald Trump had said that they're going to try to release classified information having to do with places that him and a couple of these people we're going to be talking about tonight have worked at. That's how crazy this gets.
Ross Coulthart knows a thing or two surrounding those. Investigative journalist. He's an author. He's a documentary producer. He's also the senior special investigations correspondent for News Nation. And Ross believes that the government, actually many governments, have covered up knowledge of quote, is one of the most significant figures ever to be linked to the disclosure conversations around unidentified aerial phenomena, and described him as, quote, someone who has served at the highest levels of Air Force and defense world with oversight of classified aerospace and special programs. Here's my conversation with him. Ross, why is the story of General McCasland, for lack of a better description, not bigger?
Look, actually, it's a very complex issue why General McCasland is such an important figure in not just national security, but especially the UAP mystery, the mystery of unidentified anomalous phenomena.
He's getting ready to talk about how he's connected with Podesta and a couple other people that, Podesta was the secretary, I believe, for Clinton, something like that. I can't remember what his title was, but if you guys remember, there was a scandal with Podesta and a lot of people a long time ago. And as you guys know me, Mr. Conspiracy John, who now I'm pretty proud of that title. Before it was kind of annoying to get called that, but all of this stuff is involved. All of these missing people, all of these secret orgs and everything, they're all, I believe, and I more than believe, I pretty much, in my mind, I know, I can't prove that to you, but in my mind, I know and believe that the government and these entities are tied in together. Anyways, let's go. I won't interrupt again. Well, I might, but...
I noticed there's been a lot of ill-informed commentary speculating that it's all nonsense and there's nothing to this. He lost his clearances in 2013 when he left the Air Force. He couldn't possibly know anything now that would be useful, and all the UFO stuff is just specious nonsense. That is not the case. General Neil McCasland was recorded in leaks that were leaked by the Russian GRU, where they tapped in to the private Gmail of John Podesta. John Podesta was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager in the years running up to the 2016 election. And as you would remember, Ashley, back then, everybody thought Trump had an ice cube's chance in hell of winning against Hillary Clinton. She was seen as a dead cert, rightly or wrongly. And a lot of the people in the Pentagon who've been protecting what I think is one of the biggest secrets in human history, the mystery of non-human intelligence engaging with this planet, they knew the game was up. And so a covert liaison began between John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, and people like Robert Weiss, the chief executive of Skunk Works at Lockheed Martin, General Michael Carey, a former very senior US Air Force Space Command general, and General Neil McCasland, and, believe it or not, Tom DeLonge, the lead singer of Blink-182, the rock band. Why on earth was this disparate group of people meeting? Well, the leaked emails that were eventually posted on WikiLeaks through the GRU, Russian military intelligence, they show that for many months prior to the election, there was an ongoing conversation between General Neil McCasland and all of these people about UAP disclosure, about revealing the existence of a non-human intelligence engaging with this planet. This is why a lot of people who are saying there's nothing to this have no idea what they're talking about.
See, here's the thing with all of this, like, we're going to tell everybody that non-human entities have been engaging with humans. Duh. There's like literally thousands of books that tell us this, thousands of years old, that tell us the same exact story. I don't understand. I don't know. Yes, I understand that people don't know this, even though it's literally been written about for thousands of years and there's evidence all around. But anyways, I just have to do that. It just frustrates me every time I hear somebody act like this is just groundbreaking information that people are not going to be ready for, even though every book that's ever been written about ancient entities tells us this is the case. So here we go.
And it really shocks me that one of the things we forget is our history. And if we forget our history, we forget the real story. General Neil McCasland isn't just one of the most senior generals in the US military, now retired. He's somebody who was cleared to the very highest levels of some of our deepest, darkest and most important national security secrets. He was for a while in charge of all SAPs, Special Access Programs. He was the liaison who handled the administration of SAPs, which is essentially America's deepest, darkest secrets. He then went on until 2013 to be the commander of the US Air Force's research laboratories at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And it's Wright-Patterson Air Force Base where most of the military's secret investigations into weaponry, aerospace, new technologies, new propulsion systems are done. It's a massive facility with extensive underground structures. General Neil McCasland ran the whole joint. He's cleared to top secret compartmented levels up to 2013 on secrets that still persist to this day about American weaponry, technology, space weapons, but also, and this is proven in these leaked emails from WikiLeaks, also the UAP mystery. And it was incredibly Tom DeLonge, the lead singer of Blink-182, who went into...
All right, you guys to get the idea. I don't want to hear him consistently writing this guy's jock nonstop, but the point is this guy is a who's who of the UAP community. He's the guy. He's the guy that would know things, and he's disappeared. You guys get the idea. The thing is, it's not just him. There's a lot of other people that have disappeared as well, and it blows my mind. We also have, I'm going to put put together a list of people, and they're not in a specific timeline, but all of these people have disappeared within the last year. This is not old. This is all new stuff that have happened. There might be a couple that are older that I'll talk about here, but these are all almost brand new things that are just happened, including the general that took place. This guy right here is Richard Alfred Pharamond, and he was a British engineer, an army officer, and an astronaut, and he died of natural causes the day before the general went missing. There's not a whole lot you'll see about him. No autopsy. Have no idea what to say about this guy. There's just nothing that I can say that doesn't give a reason he died. He was older. Maybe it was natural causes. It says natural causes, but there was no autopsy. So not for sure. Strange that it happened the day before. We also have this guy, Grillmar, who his name is Carl Johann Grillmar, and he was found deceased at the scene, single gunshot wound. He was a stellar streams, Milky Way halo, worked at different places like Caltech and IPEC and places along those lines. So another guy that seems to be connected, and this was on February 14th, 2026 that this happened. So very close to the time that happened as well. Then we have Nuno Loureiro, who, I don't know if you guys remember this, but at the time they were trying to connect this to a anti-Semitic shooting, but come to find out this guy is actually a plasma physicist. He worked with MIT, director of MIT. He was a professor of physics in Massachusetts Institute and Plasma Science and Fusion Center from 2024 until his murder in 2025, just 8 months prior to the other murder. Then we have this male right here who this is a murder. I don't know if you can say that word anymore on there, but they both, one of them killed the other. Let's put it that way. It says authorities have released details on the cause of death for 3 Wright-Patterson Air Force Base employees involved in a tragic murder. You see the word there, that has deeply impacted the local community. The incident, which occurred on October 25th, involved Jacob Pritchard, 34, who was accused of killing his wife, Jamie Pritchard, 33, and their co-worker, First Lieutenant Jamie Gustudis, 25, before taking his own life. And this is another Wright-Patterson employee who is tied in with the Science Network. And then we have Melissa Cassius, who was reported missing from her home in Ranchos de Teos, New Mexico, the afternoon of Thursday, June 26, 2025. And this is another missing person that is associated with these scientists. I believe she was at Los Alamos Center, which you'll see a few of these people come up missing in Los Alamos. Then we have Jason Thomas, who's a missing scientist who was finally found dead in Massachusetts, Lake Thaw. This was just a week. They just found him not too long ago, on March 17th. Jason, a chemical biologist, was reported missing on December 12th, 2025. He had left his home that night without his phone and was seen walking away from his house. His body was recovered from Lake Quannapoit on March 17th, 2026. And so another missing person, scientist. This is a dangerous, I think this is like one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, it seems like, especially if you're connected with anything to do with UAPs. And then we have another missing person. This is really interesting. Monica Reza. She was connected with aerospace engineer. She was a 60-year-old aerospace engineer and former technical fellow at Aerojet Rocketdyne. She vanished on June 26, 2026, while hiking at Mount Waterman in Los Angeles Forest. She was an avid hiker. She went hiking with several of her friends, and they got separated somehow. She disappeared. They couldn't find her on the trail. She had hiked these trails before, so a strange disappearance, and very much so connected. Also, she was the co-inventor of the Mandalay rocket engines. And yes, there's a connection with her and these others. There's another JPL person, Frank Werner Maywald. This is not one that I heard a lot of people talking about, if anybody, but he died on July 4th, 2024 in Los Angeles at 61. That he described him as a jet propulsion laboratory technical group supervisor. And there you go. Another dead one at the door. And then we have another dead one at the door. I don't know. I don't know if that dead one at the door phrase is good. It kind of sounds creepy. So I'll do something else. But look at this guy. We got another one. We got Anthony Chavez, 78-year-old Los Alamos Natural Lab employee, vanished May 2025. The report says Chavez's car was found at his home while his wallet, keys, and cigarettes remained inside. So another vanished person here. And I found a couple the only solid connection that I found was between the General McCasland and Monica Reza, because they both were under the same command, which was under General's command. She was under his command for budget and such underneath their program they were working on from 2001 to 2004. So there's a connection there somehow. There seems to be a lot of people from JPL. I also just got a text from a friend of mine who is involved in intelligence, but obviously he doesn't tell me any classified information, but he said this is somebody to watch out for. His name is John Lidwood Stone, who is also passed away on February 7th, 2026, and he worked with Near Earth LLC with a background in astronomy and aerospace. So significant for some reason or another. I'm not exactly sure, but my friend would not have sent it to me. Were it not significant? And I want to give a shout out to Super Chats. I always stop the show live to give a shout out to Super Chats if I'm actually live. And I want to say thank you, Mercedes PSJY. She says, thanks for all you do and your hard work. Always excited to see what the next topic will be about. Thank you. The things that make you go home. God bless. Thank you so much, Mercedes. I appreciate it. I'm humbled. And I really, really appreciate the Super Chat. It really helps out so much. And thank you. I hope that blessings multiply your way. And another Super Chat from the Sweet Pea. I know you've been around for a long time, and I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the Super Chat. It says, not the stories you're showing us, but how much of the weirdest stuff we're seeing so much of lately do you think might be a psyop? Alice in Wonderland programming, sending us down a bunch of fake rabbit holes because they know we've found so many real ones. Yes, I think so. And I think that the reason that they're getting rid of some of these people is because as long as these people are around, this is just my opinion, entertainment purposes only, but as long as these people are around, they have the potential to derail whatever operation or whatever story that they want to come out with. Whatever that story is, these guys have another answer probably, because they're actually ones who worked on possibly some of these crafts that we're seeing flying around in the air. This is wild stuff. And I'm under the opinion and belief that whatever they're going to tell us is not going to be the truth. I think they've been conditioning us to believe a certain thing about all this for a long, long time. But right now we're looking at missing people. We're looking at people who have all of a sudden, for some reason or another, having to do with this program, popped up missing. And there's an exorbitant amount, a lot of people in comparison to the trade. This is a lot to come up missing or to come up dead. And some of them for very mysterious circumstances. We also have Matthew Livelsberg. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this. Let me show this up real quick. You probably do. Surely you do. But this happened back, I believe it was in 2024, but he was the guy that blew up the Cybertruck in front of the Trump Hotel. Well, come to find out, this guy is a decorated Green Beret, a very respected soldier, and he actually emailed someone the day before this, and he goes by the name of Sam Shoemate. And some of you may have saw this episode with Sean Ryan where he talked about this. This was like a couple days after he received this email from this Matthew who blew up the Cybertruck in front of the towers. And come to find out, this has ties, big time ties, to UAPs. And so I want to play this video for you in case you didn't see it, to get you caught up, because I want you to see how extreme lengths they're going to go to keep some of this stuff hush hush. This is how crazy it is. So before that, though, another super chat. I want to say big hug and thank you to April Daly. She says, hi, I made a live show. Thank you for your work. God bless you. Thank you so much for the super chat. All of you super chatters so far, I'm saying blessings, big blessings to you. I hope you get 10 times what you've given today, and that the Father blesses you in a big way. Thank you so much. Here we go. We've got the Sean Ryan interview with Sam Shoemate. You guys have to check this out. Clearly UAP related, and this guy, in my opinion, is probably still alive, and we haven't seen the last of him.
Do you want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came.
And just so you know, I chopped a lot of this. Obviously, it's like a 2-hour interview, so I chopped some of this up. If you want to go see it, definitely go check out the whole interview. This is back in 2024, I believe, when this all happened.
Do you want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification.
And to give you perspective, the guy that's getting this email, he gets emails like this from whistleblowers because historically his foundation has been there for whistleblowers. He's helped many of them come out and share their instances. And he gets this email like 2 days before this happens. And he doesn't know how to verify any of the stuff this guy's talking about, mind you. So to him, it's like, whatever. And I get emails like that a lot too. I get emails that I don't know whether I can verify them. I mean, wild information that could be true, could not be true. And this is what he's describing, this email. And of course, now obviously we know that the email was true, or at least we know that the guy meant business in the email.
We have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes. He says drones is
Remember
the operational
drones,
use of
New Jersey?
gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the U.S. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operations Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used a balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate.
And another thing I want to suggest to you guys that I've been told by several people who are quote unquote in the know about what we're experiencing here, that there are black budget companies and private organizations that have more technology than our government. So when we say the USA might have some of these things, and yes, the USA probably does, there are organizations outside of our government that actually own these things too, that can operate at their own will, and China being one of them. And I don't know if you guys are religious people or not, but I don't know if you remember the vision that I told you guys I had, but this is freaking me out a little bit, because he's talking about the entire East Coast here. I don't mean to sound hocus pocus or weirdo to you guys. A lot of you guys believe in that sort of thing. A lot of you guys don't, but I'm just telling you what happened. I'm not trying to make you believe it, but this is crazy to me. And this would explain so much in what we're seeing, especially over in Skinwalker Ranch. I interviewed Thomas Winterton, the groundskeeper. He's also on the show, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, over in the guy that's over there in Skinwalker Ranch. And he said that they tested drones, like 500 drones in the air, and all but like a couple of them fell. And the only ones that didn't fall used a different navigation system that was Russian and Chinese in their navigation system. The rest of the drones lost their mind, thought that they teleported to a different geofence, started falling out of the sky, doing all kinds of things. It's on the show. You can see the episode. But he told me that the only two that didn't do that had different navigation systems. So saying that it has Russian and Chinese navigation, that their navigation systems are different and don't get scrambled the way that the ones at Skinwalker do. I mean, I'm under the impression that the things at Skinwalker Ranch aren't like skinwalkers or ghosts, but it's actual technology. I think so. Could be the other stuff too, and I don't know how you differentiate the two sometimes. It's really hard to differentiate what's magic and what's technology. I mean, you take this back to, 1700s or 1600s, they're going to be like, oh, look at the warlock. Look at him, his wizard beard. He has a black mirror. Put him to death. That's what they would be saying to me back then. But we're here now and we don't know how to differentiate. So anyways, let me keep going. I don't want to rant too long. Have too much fun.
U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive V-bid. Let me pause right there for a second. So he says a massive V-bid. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a V-bid was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
You fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it
Sorry
twice
for
and he
the
goes, you
cussing. I
said
didn't
that
cut
word
that out.
V-bid. Can you tell me what that is? For your audience,
I know
a
you guys have
V-bid,
never
for
heard
your
that.
audience who has not been in the GWAT for the last 20 years, a V-bid is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So, backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive V-bid. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff, and this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with redacted IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
So there you go. This guy was legitimate, and he was, by his peers, considered to be legitimate as well. This is and I don't know how you feel about Tim Kennedy. I know some people think he's full of it, and maybe he is, but according to him, he worked directly for the Chief of Staff of the Army, 4-star General George. He said he was a good guy. Everybody thought well of him. He was obviously very skilled. And they go on to talk about this, other people who are specialized. They said that this guy, if he wanted to, he could have built a bomb that literally leveled the entire first floor of this building. But instead, he put it inside a Tesla. He put fireworks with it. It wasn't much of a bomb, and it went off. And it was more to prove a point. There was also a body in it. They couldn't prove that it was one of his children. And they don't even know for sure. Like, there's people that don't think he's dead. So he might not even be dead, but he was proving a point, sending a message. I mean, this kind of guy right here could disappear if he wanted to. This is the kind of guy that has the ability and the wherewithal to disappear, blend in, and do that. Not that it matters if he did or not, but I thought it was interesting that this guy was somehow connected with the inner UAP workings. And this was something to do with whistleblowing about these supposed drones. Now, I believe some of them were drones. You could see that some of them were, but some of them definitely were not. I remember the frenzy And I remember thinking in my mind and even saying publicly that it seems like somebody's showing us that we can't do anything about whatever they got going on. This is a show of power. And this is what he was saying in this email. They're showing us that, look, we're up here, dog. We're up here. Let's see if you can hit us with your little pew-pews. And obviously, we didn't even know what they were. So they were up there in the air. And if these things are what he's describing, this is crazy. This is something that definitely if they have unlimited payloads, this is something that is even more catastrophic than the idea of drone swarms, which we know that are dangerous anyway. They were fully capable. I watched a video of these drone swarms hitting this building over in the east, and it just completely destroyed so many people in that city. Just 500 drones just completely wiped out so many people. It's crazy. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention too, but we have Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee, who's been pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys remember, but he's the one that says that they've been seeing UAPs underwater, UFOs underwater, and that lines up exactly with some of you guys, I've told you, some of you guys have been listening to me for a long time. Those of you that have, remember the conversation I told you about with the underwater surveillance guy, intelligence guy that worked for the Navy underwater surveillance team, whatever that intelligence department is. He showed up to this, and I'll tell you the story real quick, but he shows up to this fellowship we're having where we get together, friends and family, and hang out, get together to eat. And he's one of the guys. And I don't know this guy. I know he's a polyglot, speaks a lot of languages, very interesting. And he's telling us stories about how you can learn languages quickly, how you can, just by figuring these certain things out. And then he goes on to hand me and a guy that I work with a coin. And this coin is a challenge coin. And on this challenge coin, it has the emblem for the intelligence department for underwater surveillance. And he says, you figure out what this is, and I'll answer one of your questions. And so I had to do research. I'd never seen it before. So I went home, did some research, called a few people, sent a few pictures out, found out what it was, and come to find out he was underwater surveillance for in the ocean and places, and they hear things that they don't know what it is. There's certain no-go spots in the ocean. Interesting stuff to do with that. So it's something that I talked about before, but Burchett's famous for that video where he talks about him being underneath the water. Anyways, he's talking up and speaking up about this as well. He says there have been several others throughout the country that have disappeared under suspicious circumstances. I think we ought to be paying attention to it, and I think so too, obviously, or wouldn't have done this show, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe. These numbers seem very high in certain areas of research. I think we'd be better paying attention, and I don't think we should trust our government. You think we should trust our government? I don't know, guys. I should have made that a poll, but I already know what the answer would be. In fact, I'm going to do it, and let's see if it gets anything other than 100% on this poll. We're doing this live poll, and all it's going to say is, do you trust your government? Your gov. I'm going to put a gov just to make it faster. And if you say yes, guys, I'm going to, I don't know. If you say yes, then I'm going to pound the like button. I'm going to reach through the screen and pound your like button for you. So listen, do not hit the yes button. I don't want to see any yeses on this poll. But anyways, do you trust your government? That's something I want to know. Also, I forgot about this. This guy right here, I wanted to bring some information about him. I put this at the end so I wouldn't forget, but of course I did, and I should have put it more there. But this guy that disappeared was shot, was the guy that was testing whether or not we'd be able to see the fireballs that we're seeing right now coming down from the sky. And I've seen these fireballs before. I've seen them, but we're seeing them more now. He's disappeared. His killer was let off for some reason or another. Very strange. Gulf Shores people, if you're from Gulf Shores, raise your hand, comment Gulf Shores. Every time I've been to Gulf Shores, I have seen these stinking fireballs coming down from the sky, usually one at a time. See them coming down. What are they? Have you guys seen them there in Gulf Shores, or have you seen them at all? This is crazy to me that we're seeing the level of these different things. Another thing that I want to point out, and this is just crazy to me. I don't know why I'm just now finding out about it. I must be like completely gone in this world of conspiracies, because man, if I would have known about this, I would have talked about it a long time ago. But apparently there's about 25 scientists and engineers and computer experts linked to GEC Marconi who have either disappeared or died under mysterious or violent circumstances. And I'm talking about weird stuff. Like one guy put a rope around his neck, tied it to his tree, supposedly sat in his car, drove off, and decapitated himself right there in the car, and did it putting a stick on the gas, which I don't know why you'd need to put a stick on the gas to do it, but this is how he died. This is, I wrote it in here for you guys to read, but this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about. Completely crazy. There's actually a book about it that I just ordered called Open Verdict, and I'm seeing if there's any connections to this. What are they trying to hide? There's got to be, I believe that there's either a serial killer out there doing this, or there's some connection to all this that I'm missing. I'm missing something. And I see that I know there's the one connection we found where the overlapping time underneath a certain program, there could be something major to that. I'd have to figure out what that program was, what all it entailed. A lot of these seem to be a part of a program that I don't remember the name of the program. Oh yes, Star Wars missile program. Star Wars. I don't know. You guys know I've been talking about this Star Wars thing. This is literally our reality. A war in the heavens. The angel, Satan, drew a third of the angels with him, and they were cast down to earth. There was a war in the heavens. This is the Star Wars. And I think literally every time there is a war on earth, I think that there's something going on in the heavens. There's a manifesting going on in the heavens with this. And I want to play, I told you guys I would play this for you. I want to play this for you before I continue. If you have any super chats and you want to ask a question, now during this video is the time, and I will definitely do it, and I will be super thankful for the super chats. Or if you don't want to do super chat because you don't like YouTube or whatever, there's a link in the description. You can donate to PayPal. I appreciate it a ton. You don't have to do it. I'm not begging for it. I'm not asking. I'm not even asking. I'm just saying, if you enjoy, if you think that there's something to support here, and you want to support our future quests, because I do plan on going on a meet and greet tour so I can meet all you guys across the United States with a friend of mine. And so hopefully we can make that happen. But nonetheless, check out the website. Subscribing is enough. If you subscribe, share this out, liking the video, the more people that we get to subscribe, the better interviews I can do and the better all around things I can do. Shout out from Mom to Bomb. Thank you, Mom. You are awesome. I appreciate your super chat so much. It's such a blessing. I hope you get blessed tenfold on that. And so with that, I'm going to play this video. You guys this is crazy to me. It's not necessarily related, but it definitely adds to the weird nature of what's going on. We're living in a strange world, guys, if you haven't noticed. This is the Truman Show. I don't think I'm Truman, but I'm one of the Truman that are out there wondering what the heck's going on, wondering why lights are falling from the skies that say Sirius on them, wondering what I've got to do next in order to figure out how to play this game to keep myself from getting wiped out. It's just, there's all these wild things going on. This just adds to it, and I thought it was strange because there's something to what he's talking about here. Don't know if there's something to this guy, but something that I think is brand new that you guys probably haven't seen, that you want to check out. Also, if we have any sleuths out there, remember to check out this John Stone character from the Earth place that I talked about earlier. I didn't have a chance to check him out. I received the message right before I went live, so check that out. Here we go, guys. Check this video out. I just put a small portion, but if you look at the title and search it out, you can watch the whole thing. But there's really nothing that says body cam reveals what's behind Area 51's gates. That, in my opinion, is clickbait, because all it is a little shack where he goes and makes a call, the policeman. But what happens before is what I think is interesting, so that's what I'm going to play. If you want to watch it all, like I said, feel free. I'm not going to stop you.
The deputy is waved through the gate and onto some of the U.S. military's most heavily guarded property. Defended by a private security force known popularly as the Camo Dudes, Area 51's secrecy has led to conspiracy theories about what exactly is happening beyond these gates. And the man currently being detained by security believes he's figured it out.
What's going on? I've drove up here. I know it sounds weird, strange, but it's true. This is part of a time dilation facility, and we are experiencing this now. And you may not remember, I hope you remember it now.
So
It's tied to Revelations. It's tied,
Okay.
I mean, with heaven. You believe in, I believe in heaven.
Okay.
I believe
I do too, but here's the deal.
Yeah.
There's a gate that has a no trespassing sign outside that
Yes, I passed.
that gate. You passed it. So you've seen the sign, and obviously you've seen the gate.
Yes.
Okay. Did you come out here earlier too and try to open the gate?
I did.
You did. Okay.
Yes. No hostility intended.
No, by doing what you've done, that is hostility.
Oh,
This is a military, okay?
okay.
Or this is no joke.
This guy looks like a nice guy.
So,
Poor guy.
so you're out here because of some religious belief? Is that what I'm getting at?
There's more to it.
More to it. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something about time travel or
Not travel. Dilate. It's experiencing this time.
You guys remember that movie where the guy that comes out, I can't remember what it was called, where the guy, he keeps waking up in the same scenario every time people are trying to kill him almost as soon as he wakes up, and he has to keep going until he can get out of this time warp. What if this guy's experiencing that? What if this guy's he's like, man, I got caught again. How am I going to get through these camo bros, or what do they call them? The camel dudes, or camo dudes, or camo bros. How am I going to get through these camo bros, bro? Over and over again, he's been doing this, and he's just getting tired of it. That's what I'm imagining in my head.
okay.
Multiple times.
Okay.
The deputy doesn't appear to have an immediate interest in the man's theories of time and space, but he is interested in his ID badges.
What is this?
What's that?
Nathan? Is that your first name?
Yes.
What's this? Hell, just like this where you work, a contractor or something?
Yeah, that's Huntsville Hospital.
This is where it gets weird.
There's Huntsville Hospital, Caledine Brown. It's the green one. Redstone Arsenal. It's Army Material Command. And then NASA, Marshall Space Flight Facility. It's all part of a space program that deals with this. I know.
Well, unfortunately, you don't have permission to be out here. They wouldn't know.
The deputy has dispatched check his Tennessee license for criminal history before returning to ask about his contractor IDs, which the camo dudes have deemed questionable.
Camo dudes.
Like, you contract with the government?
Yes,
Are you lying about that, or are you being honest?
being honest.
Did you guys see any of his?
We saw the military badges, but
Do they?
me and my partner we saw them, and it looked like came out of a cereal box.
They
I mean,
they
it
don't.
could be real,
That's
but
Army Material Command.
Yeah.
okay. But also, I thought maybe they could be like
He looks
temporary
offended.
type ones as well.
Yeah.
Those look a little bit more kind of vague, like those. So
Of course, even if Nathan has a genuine contractor ID issued from the Army, it wouldn't give him clearance to sneak onto an Air Force base in the dead of night. But clarifying this won't be as simple as it sounds.
What point of? Why did you think you could come out here again?
For this time, right
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
we're experiencing time, a reoccurrence of time, and I need
So time travel or
hoping
something.
not travel, time dilation, part of a space program tied to this facility and the Redstone facility, of which I have the badge to, and this is part of that time dilation
Okay.
facility.
What if I told you that you're wrong? Are you going to argue with me, or like you're 100% wrong? You're wrong.
I'm not going to argue with you.
What?
Why
I bet
did
you
leave the
somebody.
first time?
I bet you somebody's thinking, man, what if this guy's telling the truth?
Because you're probably thinking maybe you probably
I
shouldn't do that.
gave up, and I started giving it a shot. I was hoping I wouldn't end up in handcuffs.
Well, you're probably going to end up in jail.
Because of Nathan's theories about time, even explaining that he's not allowed back at Area 51 in the future is a challenge.
He
If
seems
you
so
were to
sincere.
Leave and escort you out, you would not come back. Is that what you're telling me? So you had that opportunity to not get into
I'll
trouble.
come back. It'll be the same date. It's with a dilation, but not in a later date. No, I will not come back. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not gonna.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay.
So no, it does not make any sense.
It makes, come on, officer, open your brain, bro. It makes sense. If you're in a time dilation, he might have been there 50 times, bro. 50 times. You just don't understand science, man.
I'm not going out. I'm not doing any of that.
No, sir.
All I'm saying is you can't be here.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
All right.
hang tight. He has no criminal history at all. He's got some like contractors ID tags with the government. No drugs. He's been 100% cooperative. He let me search his vehicle. The reason that he said he's out here, and this is where it's kind of, he's not like tweaked out on drugs, or doesn't appear to be. It's just he has this idea that it's something to do with time. He didn't say time travel, but something to do with time, and he's works for NASA. You know, he did that spill.
Yeah, and so they continue because he needs to use a phone call because they don't have signal out there. So he goes and they drive down to the end of this little road, and it's just past the gate. So it's not like he actually gets inside the lab and you see an alien run along the back. The title is a little bit, like I said, to me, just the body cam footage is interesting enough for me because I've been interested in this idea of time travel, time dilation. I'm not saying it's possible, but there's weird stuff like with Looking Glass and all of these things. And I want to tell you guys too my kind of opinion and my thoughts on a lot of this, just because in case you haven't listened to my program before, I've been studying lots of different cultures for the last over a decade. And that includes biblical cultures, that includes Babylonian, that includes Assyrian, that includes all of the ancient cultures, not all of them, but most of them. And looking at it with a perspective that most of these cultures are consistently telling the same story, but from maybe a different perspective, or maybe from a fable standpoint, I guess. They're making an allegory with what they're talking about, whether it be through the stars or through a story. But all of these stories, historically, in my opinion, and in also a lot of other people's opinion, it's not just my opinion, pretty much everybody that studies all of the ancient religions will say that there's a common thread. They all seem to tell the same story. And the story that all of these things tell seem to me to be probably, since they are the first mentioned stories, are probably the accurate ones. So when you see the gentleman like that was on here earlier saying, what are we going to do? We're going to tell the world that there's aliens. Yeah, there's been that. And we've had books. We've had it all there for everyone to see for thousands of years. And yes, it's there. And so, in my opinion, all of these books, the story they tell, they talk about these beings that are not human. They're not human. Whatever they are, they're bigger than life. They're bigger than we are. They're better than we are in some way, shape, or form. They can travel. They have special abilities. They have special knowledge. And these entities decided that they were going to seed their DNA into humanity. And you might ask, well, where does the Bible say that? Well, it says that in Genesis 6. That's what I've been talking about for years. And I think that if you haven't seen anything about that, go back and check out some of that. There's tons of people that still talk about that. I mean, some people have been talking about it for 20 years. I don't see how they can't, that they're not bored to death of talking about it. Some people have been talking about this for a long time, but this is the Genesis 6 scenario when the sons of God came to the daughters of men and bare children. The same became the mighty men of the old, men of renown. And then the book of Enoch tells us that those giants, they called them Nephilim in the Bible, when they died, their bodies died, but their spirits roamed the earth as evil spirits, and they worked against mankind. And we've been seeing for many, many years, this isn't a new phenomenon that I know people like to believe, like, oh, this is new. They're sacrificing people now. They're, entertaining spirits. They've been doing it forever. There's situations in the Bible where you can see that people have been doing it, but they call these spirits, they get information, and they're relaying this information out. I don't think all aliens, quote unquote aliens, are demons. I think that we have a fallen angel problem and maybe even a hybrid problem when it comes to these physically embodied entities, because fallen angels are different than demons. Demons are disembodied spirits, whereas angels have a body, and we can see that all through the Bible. They have bodies, and they're described differently depending on what kind. Some of them even described as reptilian, as a reptile. They're called the seraphim, and the word seraphim means fiery serpent. So what I believe that we're actually seeing is, I believe we're seeing the powers that were once reserved in heavenly places, who have been cast to earth and somehow unleashed onto society, are now working with the highest echelons of our government or our black budget projects or our private organizations, and they are controlling the flow of information about what you guys find out. Now, even though the information's out there, I believe, of what they're about, you'll have to see that over time they've tried their best to get rid of the Bible and to discredit anyone who would tell you the story of Genesis 6. Believe it or not, less than a decade ago, it was considered hoo-ha. It was considered phooey. It was considered science fiction to tell you what Genesis 6 said and what it actually meant. People were saying, oh, it has to be something else. Well, recently we figured out what this is. So that's why I believe this story. I don't believe that we're dealing with some advanced civilization that figured its way out how to get here to Earth. I think that Earth is the spot that every living being knows about. I think it is the center of the universe. I believe that. I believe in a geocentric Earth. And so these are some of my opinions. There's a lot, but there's at least millions of fallen angels here on Earth if the Bible is telling the truth. There's 2 spots where it talks about them having 10,000 times 10,000 angels. And if you multiply that, that is 100 million, 10,000 times 10,000. And then it goes on to say an innumerable amount. So that's at least millions of these entities that are here on Earth right now. If 1/3 of them fell, we're talking 33 million or more that are here roaming the Earth, looking like human, probably not acting like human. And then on top of that, those of you guys that saw the broadcast I did about AI, we even got the AI stuff going on as well, guys. If that's not enough, if the aliens isn't enough, we've got AI knocking on the door saying, hey, let me in. I want to talk to you about some weird crap. And so there we go. We got a lot going on in the world. And I hate to be weird about it, but man, like sometimes you just have to find the humor in all of this weird stuff, because we are living in the Back to the Future days. We're living in X-Files. We're living in the Jetsons right now as we speak. And so I don't know what to say about it other than I love you guys, and I wouldn't think of anybody better to be here with than you guys. You guys are my family, my friends. Outside of the family I have here with me in my house, you guys are the ones I care about. And so I do hope to see you guys out there when we go to do these things. And if you have any questions, like I said, if you have a super chat, ask a question. I will say thank you, and I will answer your question. And that's about the extent of the questions. I might do one if you do all caps, but the chat's moving quick. I can see a question from Sweet Pea. I will see that, and I will answer that, and I will see that and raise you 10. No, I'm kidding. It says, thoughts on my theory that Quetzalcoatl, the serpent, god of the Mayas, was the old dragon, the seraphim from Eden that visited them and gave them his demonic prophetic calendar. That's an interesting statement, because definitely the feathered serpent, which is what America, the land of the feathered serpent, stands for, definitely was the bringer of knowledge to the Mayans and the people down in South America, and maybe even Northern America. There's obviously pictures of the feathered serpent all over the place in the Americas and in other parts of the world. I think it goes back to the Amalekites and back to the Canaanites culture. But the story goes that there was a dragon man, almost a serpent man, who came out of the water onto Earth, taught them how to farm, how to mine, how to do all of the things that would be required to govern the earth. And then they departed. And this man was described as having, this is why you see the headdresses in the Native American culture, because it was a serpent almost They said in his human form he had either long red or long blonde hair, and he had this big feathers along his head like a cobra, like a serpent of sorts. And so, like I said, this is where the Native Americans, why they have their big headdresses. And some people link him to the light bearer, which light bearer, Prometheus, the bringer of the fire, the one who brought the knowledge, brought the fire to the people. This could be seen as that. I've even heard stories, and I haven't looked into this as much, that the Native American culture believes that Quetzalcoatl is Jesus, which I don't know how they come to that conclusion, but I've heard that as well. So hopefully that answered your question, Miss Sweet Pea. I appreciate your super chat earlier, and I appreciate all you guys so very much from the bottom of my heart. Pounders Quest, I'm going to try to keep with you guys next week, even though I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to still do something to bring some kind of, conversation to you guys, my family, my questers. You guys are questioneering with me, questioning everything. Quest gentlemen and quest ladies, I can't wait to see you guys next time. Please sub, please like, please share. We want everybody to be a part of this community because this community means something. We're out here in a world of lies, sifting through it, pounding our way through the world of lies. Be blessed, guys. Talk to you next time.
The world keeps lying, but he won't retreat on his quest for truth. Yeah. Truth. Quest for truth. They can't stop me, they can't block me. Moving through. Got that fire, they can't block me. Quest for truth. Breaking chains, make